Okay, I start. So we are in a book 2 of A Course of Love in a chapter 9, giving and receiving. I love this first sentence. The art of thought is not possible without a return to the virgin or unaltered self. Do you know that part of you that's virgin?
That's the part that we tune into sometimes when we finish reading something.
That's it. It takes us there. That's the beauty of the Course of Life. It takes you there without much effort whatsoever. The practice of the art of thought is what will complete the return began through a coursework in A Course of Love. Let me do that again. The practice of the art of thought is what will complete the return began through the coursework of A Course of Love, which is the book 1, right? This will bring about the union of the male and female in conception and action, of inspiration and manifestation. This is what we have been speaking, Jesus. This is what we have been speaking of when speaking of miracle-mindedness or miracle readiness. This is wholeheartedness, and it's achieved through mindfulness. Whether you are male or female matters not, as you are in truth the union of each. I love that.
Yeah.
You're a union of each. That's the real wholeness. The end of separation that brought about the resurrection, brought about this union, and the separation of male and female continues to exist only in form. Anyone else?
Yeah, I'll go.
Thank you.
However, we are talking now, in a certain sense, of an elevation of form. While this is actually an elevation beyond form, it must begin in the reality where you think you are.
Mm.
In other words, it must begin with form.
Yeah.
You cannot await some changed state, but must create the changed state you await.
Mm-hmm.
You are used to creating in outward ways. One of the few exceptions to this outward creation is the act of giving birth.
Mm.
But birth, like all outward manifestations, but reflects inner change. The growth of a new being within the womb of another is a visible manifestation of gestation,
Wow.
Mm.
which is the prelude to resurrection.
Yep.
What was once part of the mother and father, what would have died without the joining that occurred within, becomes new life. You are now asked to carry new life, not in the womb, but in the united mind and heart.
Love it.
I'll do one. Let us consider why birth has been the purview of women and males have been incapable of giving birth. This is because in your version of creation, there needed to be a giver and a receiver. You knew that giving and receiving makes one in truth. This is your reaction of this.
Recreation.
Well, if you just leave out the 70 hour, I got it wrong. A couple of letters. This is your reaction. Oh,
This is your recreation, darling.
I think she put the wrong word in here. I think she meant
She meant it your way, for
yeah,
sure.
this is your recreation of this universal truth. You remembered that something does not come from nothing, and that nothing is all that exists without relationship.
Mm.
Mm.
Ah.
Chantel, you look like you're on my screen first. Do you want to?
Sure.
Yeah, oh, excuse me, sorry. Can I get the reference again, please? I'm just having trouble finding where we're reading from.
9.7.
Yep, thank you.
And it's a book
Book 2.
two. You have to, and it's a first treatise. Because there is, in a book two, there is about 4 different sections. So this is the first section of the treatise. Do you have
In
the
my
actual
book,
book or do you have PDF?
Okay, I don't know if I've got that.
Do you have the actual book?
I've got the sparkly version and I've got the Circle of Atonement.
Oh, sweetie, we are doing, this is a Course of Love group.
Oh, okay.
So we're doing like a completely different book.
Oh, okay. All right. No, I don't. That's why I can't find it.
Yeah, we can send you a PDF if you like.
Oh, that'd be great.
Sure.
Yeah.
Do you
Okay.
have, Kevin, do you have a contact there? Do you have a?
I'm just going to have a look at Michelle's in. Yeah, just keep going. I'll have a look.
He will sort it out. He'll post it to you.
Oh, thank you. That's great. Tap.
I just put it in the chat.
Okay, thank you.
It'll come up in a second. Yeah.
Is she in the chat? Oh, in the chat.
Yeah.
Yeah, here it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Whoa,
Got,
that's so
got you back, Kevin.
Thanks, Andrew.
That's all right.
Got some efficient people here. No deficiency here.
Yeah.
I've got it. Wow.
Beautiful. Yes, and if you're in a PDF, we can give you a page, which is, you guys have a page there? Oh no, hang on, is there pages?
Up the top it says 226 of 631.
Okay.
Oh,
Thank you.
wow, I have 258 of 720.
you can do a search for the words anyway, giving and receiving.
Yeah, giving and receiving chapter 9.
Chapter 9.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Okay, 9.7.
9.7 on top of it.
Yet you have not remembered that the first union is of mind and heart.
Wow. Love it.
First union is union with the self. This union with the self is resurrection or rebirth. All are capable of this life-giving union. All are capable of birthing the self. But what then of the necessary act of giving and receiving? In this birth of the self, who is the giver? In this birth of the self, who is the giver and who is the receiver?
Mm.
In order for the self to be birthed, giving and receiving must be one in truth. Yet it seems there must be one to give and one to receive.
Mm.
You have long waited to receive what you have thought could come only from some other. Your churches are but evidence of this. You seek from religion an intercessor, one to facilitate for you this receiving of communion.
Beautiful.
Only through the Christ within you does this giving and receiving become one in truth.
Wow, it's amazing, eh? Only through the Christ within you does the giving and receiving become one in truth. Whoa.
As I awaited my death, I was given the gift of knowing what would come to be through my resurrection. This I try to pass on in the simplest of terms. I try to make it known that while I would die and resurrect into a new form, you would also, that this new form would exist within you, that you would become the body of Christ, and giving and receiving would be complete. You are the body of Christ. Kevin, who's next on your screen?
Alison T.
Right.
You have the same screen as me then.
What was that?
He has the same screen. You could make it easy, go Allison, then Carolyn, then Ruben, then Dennis, then Annie.
Mine's a bit different, but go ahead.
Yeah, mine too.
What will it mean to bring about the union of the male and female, of conception and action, of inspiration and manifestation? It will mean union and a time of miracles. It will mean that you are the living body of Christ. In the broadest of terms, this is already happening. As the ego has become threatened and allowed the coming of guidance, males and females both have begun to work with the parts of themselves over which the ego has the least control. For males, this has most often meant a turning away from the intellectual realm, which was ruled by the ego, to the realm of feelings. For females, this has most often meant a turning away from the feeling realm, where their egos held most sway, toward the intellectual. This instinctual turning toward an opposite has been made to serve you through the intercession of the Holy Spirit. In turning within, rather than turning without, to find what you need to free you from the ego's reign. You have turned toward wholeness. In the same way that embracing both the male and female attributes within you causes a merging of both and a wholeness to be achieved, so too does a wholeness then come about with conception and action. inspiration, and manifestation. I'll let someone else read now.
Ruben, do you want to read next?
Yes. 9:13. Lest you find these ideas as stereotypical, I will give just a few brief examples. This I ask you to cull from your own recent experience. What has caused the ego to become more apparent to you as you have learned this course? Has it not seemed to lie dormant for periods of time and then to suddenly be called back to life through some event or situation? What was this event or situation? Did it not threaten your self-image? And did this threat occur at what you will call the feeling level or at the intellectual level? Were your feelings hurt or your pride? Your feelings call into question or your ideas? And what guise did the ego take us it rally to your aid? Did it require you to retreat or advance? Did it steer emotions or attempt to steal them? These may be difficult questions to answer, as your initial reaction and your response will likely have taken on different forms. You may, for instance, have reacted by being hurt or angry. Your response may then have been either an emotional one or an intellectual one. The point here is that the one that is most comfortable and that is likely your first reaction is cognizant with your old pattern or the pattern of the ego. What breaks the ego whole will be the second reaction or the turning away from the old. One more. One first reaction might be to put off. One first reaction might be to put oneself up with pride, bolster one's position, think one's way through, argue, manipulate, or chastise another so that you feel better in relationship to the other in the situation or event. Another first reaction might be the one of self-pity or making oneself or another feel guilty or of experience a sense of diminished self-esteem or worthiness.
Yep.
The first will feel like an intellectual position. The second, like a feeling position. Turning away from the intellectual position to one of feeling will most readily and quickly solve the first. The second will be most rarely and quickly overcome by a turn toward reason or the intellect. The perceived attack will have entered at the place where you have placed your highest value and are thus most vulnerable. In the past, your response will have been to protect and use that which you have most value. Now, your response will have been changing. You will not see so much to value in what has called your ego into action and will turn away from it. What was is being thrown out, and the first step in this is embracing what you heretofore have not embraced. You are pulling forth sides of yourself that were previously undervalued rather than looking for another to provide what you lack. This is important and universal in its impact. It will seem to be about balance, but it's about holiness. Male and female are labels laden with attributes. When the different attributes are merged, male and female will be no more, and holiness will reign. Amen.
Amen.
Beautiful, huh?
Good. I'm curious. Excuse me. I'm curious. Did anyone find that an easy exercise to do? Because I've been looking at that all week and I find it really difficult. What he says about when he asks all those questions in paragraph 13. It's really hard for me to know which comes first.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is like the core of our practice. It's a struggle for me for years, this issue, and reading this, I feel like maybe I'll have a bit of a method. But yeah, but you're saying it's still really hard.
What's hard?
Well, when he asks, so what has caused the ego to become more apparent to you as you've learned this course?
Mm-hmm.
Has it not seemed to lie dormant for periods of time and then suddenly be called back to life through some event or situation? Absolutely, yes. What was the event or situation? Well, something happened this week for me, but I don't know. I suppose it threatened my self-image, but I'm not sure whether it occurred at the feeling level or intellectual level first. They're so tied up that it feels like they're entrenched in each other somehow.
Well, when you're in your feelings, your thoughts go quiet. When you're in your thoughts, your feelings are really not there unless you're united. So which one is it? Like what
That's a good answer. Yeah, it was feeling came first.
the what?
Feeling.
And what's your relationship to that feeling? Do you like that feeling?
Well, it's not really a. So I go now to the question where he says, did it require you to retreat or advance? I retreated, but later on I advanced.
Right.
Also with feeling. So I retreated, but that, I suppose that's a common one for me. I retreat because I'm so surprised at this thing coming at me.
Mm-hmm.
And
well, did you manage to still it? So, like, did it stir emotion or attempt to still them?
you know what? Actually, I find it quite interesting because what actually fixed it was doing a Course in Miracles lesson.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where I bring intellect in, I suppose.
Yes.
Like mind, that's where the mind comes in.
Mm-hmm.
The mind came in and helped with that.
Yes. Change of mind.
And he says we'll see it as a balancing out. And yes, that was how I experienced it, was as a balancing out. And then I was able to.
Well, the Course in Miracles just keeps dropping you into wholeness. When you fall into wholeness, there is no longer the separation between thought and a feeling. You unite.
Mm.
That's how Course works. Like it's this approach.
Anyway, yeah, I was curious if anyone else had like tried it at the time that he asked, but that's all right.
Thanks for sharing.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you.
Don't you think that sometimes in the future, afterwards, that somehow it just happens, the wholeness just
comes,
it just comes like at some seemingly random time where you go, oh, like now I get it. And even just saying that, I could feel that, just that relaxation, like that wholeness of feeling and mind.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the aha moment. Thank you.
Yeah.
I found that chapter overwhelming. I'm not sure why.
Beautiful.
Yes.
There's a lot in there.
That's a lot. It's really beautiful.
Yes, it is a lot.
Ultimately, giving and receiving, I mean, really. So you're both male and female in your essence. When that's united, you don't even know which one is the male or which one is the female. You just united in your heart. Yeah. It's like,
so, sorry.
Yeah.
So if you're in one or the other, you're not really giving or receiving?
Well, you might, if you're more male, you're giving, and then if you're female, you're receiving. You're in your more receptive mode.
Oh.
I'd say.
Okay.
But it's that same practice, like if you are giving, you're also receiving. If you're really giving wholeheartedly, in that sense, you have to feel it as well. So you have an idea that you're going to give. So like the lesson 108 in the course, it's like, what do you want to have right now? What would you like to have? That's what it's really saying. What do you truly desire? Let's say peace, right? Let's say. So what you do, you start giving peace to everyone. First, you have to feel it, though. If you just do it mentally, you're just mentalizing. But feel peace, which is actually in the next chapter, which is really quite interesting. Feel peace. You have to feel it. Tell me when you're there. Yeah.
I think so, yeah. I think I am.
Okay, good. So now come with this intention of giving it, like, to everyone, I offer this peace.
Everyone, I offer this peace.
Yeah. And just be, You can even do it here on a screen, like pick somebody, because then it gets really personal and then it gets very powerful.
Oh, okay. I'll pick Kevin.
You begin to give and the other person goes like, oh, you're giving it to me, right?
Yeah. But in giving it to one, you're giving it to all, actually.
Yes, but give it to somebody specifically. You'll see. There's a next level to it.
Okay.
So, yes, look what's happening to you. See, as you begin to give it, you begin to receive it. You're getting it.
Yeah.
So, like in this world, if I have this match and I'll give it to you, then I don't have the matches. You have them. You can have a fag or something, but I can't. So in truth, it's different. In truth, it's like when you truly feel peace and you begin to give it, you begin to receive it more. What appears to be more, because in here we have levels. So give the peace more and even more. And see if you can name someone. So like to you, I offer the peace.
Andrew.
Andrew.
To you, I offer the peace of God.
Yeah. Did you feel the increase as you give it?
Yeah, I did.
Exactly. And it's got nothing to do with Andrew so much. It's just that you're just giving it. Now you have it. So now that you gave it and you have it more, you can give that. And now I offer you this level of peace. And I guarantee you, if you keep going, it will become almost like an unbearable lightness of being. You're going to go, oh my God, this peace is crazy.
So does it make any difference whether they actually receive it or not? Because...
Well, I tell you, if they receive it, it just goes, then it goes even wilder. If they can really receive it, to a point where they feel that same peace that you're actually giving, it becomes really strong.
Oh, and that's when you're joined, yes.
Yes, because you start with two or more gathered in my name, or where there is a joining, it becomes really strong. Sometimes to a point where, I have experienced times when I said, you know what, we just have to break this off right now because it's unbearable. Like it's the orgasmicness of it all. It becomes so delicious that becomes almost too much. So then you can you tune it down to like this sweet spot. So I call it sweet spot, like give as much as you want to receive. You're not overwhelmed. Because many times I'm so dragged out that I can't even function in this world. It's mere act of giving.
Oh, I think, like I'm so used to holding on.
Yes.
It's happening and I'm not realizing it's happening because it's so automatic.
Bingo. Bingo. Yeah. And so we're in this, all expressions of love are maximal, but really to only to the extent to which you give it.
Yeah.
And if your giving center is screwed up by constant attack thoughts, the giving is pretty limited. So when we heal that, the giving is enormous. It's enormous. It's the same as God gives, because God only gives. And then when you become like God created you, you can only give. And if you give without judgment and without any limitations, that's union. That's union.
So the reality is we can give to whoever, wherever, whenever.
Absolutely.
It's up to us.
At the end of this book is actually apparent that it's all that is ever required, that you give. And you give, eventually you can even start giving what appears to you be as negative.
Right, yes.
You can start giving feelings that are not very nice. Interestingly enough, they're only not nice to you. They still divine feelings.
Oh, yes, because we've got so much judgment around it.
Yes. Plus, you're releasing it by giving it. Yes.
Yes. Give that. Oh, okay.
Yeah. in you, this also happens because if you have a thought, your feeling wants to reflect it. If your feelings are drained and look like a bruise rather than the divine love they are, they're dysfunctional. They can't reflect to you what you're thinking. That really is the separation.
Yeah.
Mm. The feeling is the secret to it all. But the feeling realm in most people are just really just like a bruise, dysfunctional. The Course in Miracles or even Course of Love can become just a freaking mental something. That's why we read slowly. That's why we encourage this slowness. Because when you're slower, your feelings have a chance to join in. And that's that real joining happens. The more we slow down, and eventually we finish the chapter and we all fall into this like, oh, this space of like quietness and peace.
Yeah, I can see how important it is to like almost like to focus on this. The more you focus on this sort of writing,
yeah,
it takes you there, and
yeah,
oh, so much, so good. Yeah.
Yes. Because that lesson runaway, it's very powerful. But I did it just very mentally for so many years. But one day I actually felt it. And then giving the feeling was the game changer. It's like, oh, the more feeling I give, the more it expands and more it touches the.
Well, yeah, I was holding my grandson the other night and just looking into his eyes, and it was so great, you know, because that was what was happening. It was just this feeling, and it was so lovely. It was so lovely. Yeah. Yeah.
You look into these eyes of innocence, you know, like you're looking at this unprogrammed beingness that's just pure, you know.
It's so easy to do with a baby, right?
I know, exactly.
A grown up, it's not so easy.
Yeah.
To see that innocence, yeah.
Because you don't have those labels on those babies yet.
Yeah, yeah. And yet I know.
Drop into peace.
Yeah. And like from the get-go, I mean, the moment he was born, the labels were coming. Oh, he's stubborn. Oh, he's this. Oh, he's that. It's like,
exactly. You layer it with judgments, and then you don't see it anymore.
Yeah.
The Christ is gone.
Yes.
All right, guys, shall we hit the peace?
Peace, yeah.
Okay, Carolyn, are you reading today? You don't have to read if you don't want to, but you're next on my list.
Yeah. You.
You're on mute.
Hang on, just let me find it. I decreased it. It's really good stuff. I like this stuff.
We'll just read it through slowly in case you haven't picked that up yet.
It feeds me. I don't know where it is.
Okay, we'll just get Dennis to read.
Yeah, Dennis.
Thank you.
Chapter 10, is that where we're going?
Yeah, peace.
Now let me address the issue of the peace you have been experiencing, as well as your reactions to this peace.
I love that. Your reactions to this peace, right?
It is so foreign to each of you that you can't quite imagine that it is what you are supposed to be feeling. There is a core of peace at the center of yourself now, and the issues that you choose to deal with will not affect the core of peace at all.
Mhm.
While you may find this almost disturbing, you will not go to extremes to break this peace.
Mm.
Huh.
Right.
My peace is yours. You have asked for it, and it has been given to you.
Oh,
It was given.
Mhm.
To not have it, you will have to choose not to have it. And this will be tempting on occasion. You will wonder at the lack of extremes in your feelings and want to bring them back. You will experience this loss of extremes as a lack. You will think that something is wrong. You will feel this particularly when others around you experience extremes. A friend is experiencing feelings on an extreme level, and this will seem to tell you that this friend is really alive. Whether it be joy or sorrow, it will seem real in a way that peace does not. It will seem so human that a wave of desire to be fully human will wash over you. You will think that this human who has caught your attention is fully engaged and fully experiencing the moment. You will think this is what you want. You! And I say again that it will not matter whether it be joy or sorrow for you. And I say again that it will not matter whether it be joy or sorrow, for you are or have been attracted by both for the same reason. The reason of wanting to be fully engaged in the human experience. I wanted to be fully engaged in the grammar of that sentence, but I let it go. It really happened. Here is this experience you have created, and how often have you been fully engaged in it? How often have you given yourself over to those highs and lows? You will be tempted to give yourself over once again in this most human of ways. You will cry and laugh for the poignancy of the human experience. This is the known that you will be tempted not to give up. If you can't be moved from your peace by the greatest of these experiences, the most profound sorrow, or the most all-encompassing joy, you will feel inhuman. You will think that this cannot be where you are meant to be, what you are meant to feel. You will wonder, what is wrong with you? This is temptation, the temptation of the human experience. This is what you continue to choose over the peace of God. This is not a right or wrong choice, but it is a choice. It is your free will to continue to make this choice. You used your free will to choose the human experience. Now are you willing to use it to choose the peace of God instead? Can you wholeheartedly choose peace? Can you choose peace long enough to become accustomed to joy without sorrow? If you cannot, you will continue to create hell as well as heaven, and will continue the separation between the divine and the human. Is heaven worth enough to you to give up hell? These extremes of human experience have been learning devices. They have cracked open hearts and minds to the divine presence within. You have chosen them for just this reason. But you can now be an observer and look upon them as your brothers and sisters' learning choice without choosing to return to learning in the same way again. You no longer need these experiences to alert you to the divine presence. Once you have learned to read, you do not return to learning to read over and over again, even while you may continue to read for a lifetime. Once you have learned to read, you do not return to learning to read over and over again, even while you may continue to read for a lifetime. You can continue to experience life and still carry the peace of God within you. As you live in peace, you can be an example to your brothers and sisters, an example that says, there is another way. Are you being asked to give up extremes? Yes. You are being asked to give up all that would take peace from you. But as you've been told before, you will be giving up nothing. It will seem as if it is so for a while, perhaps. You will continue to be attracted to those living at the extremes, and there is no reason not to take joy in observing another's happiness or to feel compassion at another's suffering. But you need not partake, and you cannot partake if you are going to carry the peace of God within you.
Wow. Fantastic passage.
This is what have been meant by the many references that have been made to God, not seeing suffering. God exists with you in peace. When you feel peace, you feel the peace of God. There is no other peace. There is no other God. Whether you believe it or not, I assure you, within the peace of God is all the joy of what you have known as the human experience, and none of its sorrow.
Wow.
Gives me chills. Each of you will have an experience you look back on, an experience of profound joy or grief that also became an experience of profound learning. You will think that you would not be who you are now without experiences such as this one. You will think that I cannot possibly be asking you to give up these types of experiences. but you have already had them. I ask you not to give them up, only to make a new choice. It is your memory. Go ahead. Somebody saying something?
Someone else might like to read now, Dennis.
Say again? Oh, okay, sure.
Kevin, whose turn is it?
It's yours, Kim.
Oh, is it? Oh, there you go.
Yeah, we do like about 2 paragraphs each.
Okay.
Just to give everyone a chance to air out a bit.
Because it's quite a different experience reading and listening, actually. Yeah.
It's very nice reading, though.
Yes.
It is, isn't it?
Dennis, it was lovely. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. It is your memory of these events.
Dennis, did you receive that acknowledgement?
Oh, I did. Yes, thank you. Yes, I was still breathing. I didn't. I used to say, "Oh, thank you." You know, really, like there was a time when I could just openly accept that. But I appreciate you bringing that up, Paul. Yes, thank you.
Yeah, nothing wrong with your reading, Dennis. That's for sure.
Beautiful.
It is your memory of these events that holds such sway over you that you would choose not the peace of God. But look past what you have remembered to what was truly there. No moment of true learning ever arrived without the peace of God. For without the peace of God, no true learning is possible. Let us separate experiences you might call peak experiences from experiences of extremes that served as learning devices. Peak experiences often follow occasions of happiness or trauma, but they do not happen within them. Peak experiences are what you can look forward to rather than back upon if you but choose the peace of God. It's funny because I used to think if I wasn't on the roller coaster of the highs and lows, that was the flat line. It meant I was dead. I completely, the opposite view, the opposite perception of it. Yeah. Anyway, who else would like to read?
Andrew's next. Can you read, Andrew?
Yeah. I'll read and then I'll say something that's resonating. The extremes that we are talking of leaving behind are extremes of reaction to a chosen lesson. What you are being asked to leave behind is the need for such lessons. If you have learned the curriculum, what further lessons are needed? What quiet knowing cannot come to you in peace? Why would you believe you can learn from the turmoil of extremes what you cannot learn in peace eternal?
Mm.
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 This is what you have believed and why you have not chosen yet to accept your inheritance. It's got a big truck going past.
We can't hear it.
Oh, cool. All right. I can't hear myself. Yet, let the memory of the truth return to you now, and you will see that peace is all you have sought learning to attain. If you do not pause now and accept that it is here, you will not know the peace of God that is your own self.
Yeah.
Mm. Mm.
So I've been reading a book by Steiner, Rudolf Steiner, and he gives 6 exercises in this book. And he says that that's all you need. If you can practice these exercises, that's all. Like, don't worry about reading any of the lectures or anything, but if you can do these exercises, then that's all you need. And the third one is the first one was control of thought. The second one was control of will. And the third one is control of feeling. And he talks about being for this exercise, he says that to practice sort of regulating your feelings just for a specific amount of time and not letting them go, not letting your laughter go too out of control or your sadness go too out of control. He just says practice just finding like a bit of a
middle
ground. And since doing that, what I notice the result is peace. And I feel like that is sort of what he's saying here. Well, that's what I'm experiencing with this one is if we practice not going too high up or too low down, then we'll find that peace in the middle ground. And yeah, I can feel that very much so.
Mm-hmm.
Mm. And I notice the times where I'm like, where it goes when it feels like it's been in the middle ground for a while, and then something in me screams for the extreme, and then I just kind of, yeah, it's hard to to not go back into the extreme after being in the middle ground for a while. Mm. Beautiful.
Very beautiful.
Yeah, thank you, Andrew.
Do we have anyone else who haven't read and would like to?
Annie, you can read now if you'd like to. It's all the off cameras now. So Annie.
Okay. 10:14.
Yep.
Yep.
Peace, in whatever way you find it, in whatever expression it takes, no matter what words you use to describe it, is your answer to God and God's answer to you. Peace is the inheritance I left you. Peace of body, mind, and heart. Peace is the realm of miracles, the condition of the wholehearted, the prerequisite to the art of thought, the description of heaven, the abode of Christ. Peace has come to you, and you to peace. Now your final instruction is here. You who have found peace, live in peace. You have been given the peace of God. Go in peace. Spread peace throughout the land. Go out in peace and love and service to all. For in this going out, you come home and bring with you all the brothers and sisters you have brought to peace. Go in peace to love and serve with all your heart. Thus are we one heart, one mind, one unity. Thus are we one in a relationship of love and peace that is our eternal home. Welcome home, my brothers and sisters in Christ. Welcome home. Oh, I just feel that relaxation into that. Welcome home.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's hard to feel that some of the things that are occurring in my awareness are there to lead me home. You know, to really accept the gift and receive it without distancing myself from it or pushing it away.
Just sigh into it. That's one thing. Like if you sigh, like, oh, it just.
It's good to acknowledge it.
Yeah.
That's so comforting. It just feels like one big embrace. It's just really lovely.
Yeah, words can never cover it. Mm.
I mean, I don't know if any of you.
Oh,
Go
sorry.
ahead. No, that's all right. Go ahead, please.
So when we see suffering, when we see people in distress, the teachings are saying then that we that we just maybe do something like say to you, I offer the peace of God, like that we inwardly make offer peace. So we're not like just like going, oh well, that doesn't exist, and be detached. We're actually sending a gift of love. That's the correct interpretation.
Mm.
Are you looking at a particular section?
Sorry?
Are you looking at a particular paragraph there?
No, just that's the sort of the whole. So it talks about, that we're excuse me, we're no longer buying into the highs and lows. So we're remaining in peace, but it can come across as really detached. Like when someone, like someone say, oh, I'm too spiritual to buy into the highs and lows. And it can come across as very cold, and it can be very disturbing to be on the receiving end. Yeah, so that it's not saying to do that. Like we've looked at the two chapters there, like looking at chapter 9, which was about giving and receiving, and chapter 10, which is about remaining in peace. So I'm just sort of putting the whole thing together and thinking, yeah, that when we're witnessing suffering, we're kind of almost like a sense of responsibility. So we're not just like going, oh, well, that doesn't exist, it's not my problem. We're thinking, okay, I'm going to send in my mind or practically, whatever's possible, I'll offer you this peace of God and remain in our place of peace, so that we're not coming across as, we're just like really detached and stoic and above it all.
Well, I think if you go into your own peace at that moment, you'll come out with the answer, whether it means to respond or, what I mean, with words. I like to ask if someone needs a hug, because there's no words really in that hug, and to breathe into the hug at one point, if they're available, gets the same kind of release that I feel now with this kind of, sighing, like, but it's a togetherness that, and not everybody wants to be hugged or hugged deeper, so it's a feeling that out, it's going into your own peace, I think, at the time, and the answer will be given to you, what to do.
I find it very difficult to remain in peace when I'm witnessing not peace. Yeah.
I think
that's what I'm saying, is that I think what I've seen some spiritual people do is that they find it disturbing of their peace to witness someone else's suffering, so they just deny that it's actually happening. Like they just go into, well, I'm so spiritual, I don't rely on a wisdom teaching to say, well, this isn't actually happening. And it comes across as quite perverse. Yeah.
Mm.
And
yeah, it comes from
and even in myself, you know, like I've been given that advice. You know, I've had a conflict with someone, and the, you know, someone else will say, "Oh, well, that person doesn't exist anyway, so you don't have to worry about them."
In that case, they don't understand forgiveness, because forgiveness really, if you have practiced actual forgiveness, these things will stop occurring. You're holding something within yourself, you'll magnetize it to yourself, and then to say this is not real, you dissociate from that which you've created. You got to have a look what it's calling in you. Like if you see suffering, how does that make you feel? And then you notice that you somewhere hate this feeling in yourself, and they're not forgiven, so they're coming for forgiveness. But once you've done real forgiveness, these things will stop occurring. Like you will just not magnetize to yourself these realities. But if you just say, this is not real, you haven't managed to heal yourself. That's like the forgiveness without correction is an empty gesture. And a lot of Course in Miracles teachers suffer this syndrome of thinking that none of this is real while they're still looking at it. Yeah. They're looking at it, and then they say, this is not real. Well, if it's not real, why would you even mention it? Why would you name it something? So it comes a time when you're truly forgiven within yourself. Like it says, all forgiveness is self-forgiveness. Like why is, I was going like, hang on a second, this is happening in my reality.
Yeah.
Where have I not forgiven this in myself? And it's always that come back to like, how does it make you feel? Because why would you even want to try to forgive if something's not bugging you inside you somewhere? But is this bugging me in myself, then it's healing.
I think there's a natural growth period between the intellectual and the feelings.
Yeah.
And there's a tension that we feel in trying to tease this out. What is right? Is it a feeling or is it our intellect? And it's very much growth of sitting with it and coming to an awareness of the love of Christ. And in there rises up the essence of forgiveness. And when we feel that self-forgiveness, we're released from the intellect and the feeling.
Yes. So ideal scene, Michelle, is like, how does it make you feel that this is what these people do? Because they are showing up in your reality, right?
They're a mirror.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're showing up in your reality. Like there is the people who are looking at something that's not real, but that's happening to you. How does that make you feel?
Distressed.
Yeah,
angry.
Distressed. Great. Angry. So which one is it?
Hopeless.
Yeah, what?
She said hopeless.
Hopeless, yeah. And now what's your relationship to hopelessness in you?
Yeah, sorry, internet.
So then you look at your...
What's the relationship to hopelessness?
Yeah. As your mind meeting that hopelessness, it sees it as divine reflection, or is it something you want to get rid of?
Yes, something I want to get rid of.
Yes, exactly. So then you split yourself in two camps, you know, the good one and the bad one. And now you are not whole because part of you is getting rid of another part of you. And that needs healing in you. It's got nothing to do. When that's healed, those people that do what you just mentioned will not occur to you. They will not be there.
Right.
Yeah. And that's true forgiveness, that you find yourself not getting triggered day in, day out. It's like, nothing really dramatic happens because it's been forgiven. And that's true forgiveness. But just to say it's not real is a sadism of form.
Yes, yeah, it is. Yeah.
Yes, that's why it doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel wholehearted. There's no wholeheartedness. It's just detached ego mind that's punitive and just goes like, nah, it's not real. There's only love. There's only love. You know what I mean? And you can feel that the person's not a genuine peace. They're not in their genuine radiance because they themselves are attracting nightmares of their mind. And at some point, that does not really occur in your existence. And if they do, all you can do is bless them. You know, it's just this genuine blessing. You're like, oh, sweetheart, yeah.
Okay. Beautiful.
Yeah, it always comes back home because that's where the healing has to happen. It's like my mind needs healing. But this feeling around, Course in Miracles is a course in feeling because it heals the mind that then becomes present instead of mental. And you can become Course in Miracle minded mental idiot. Very easily. It's like a disease, you know, like a example lives that demonstrated, you know, interpretations rather than each sentence in a course should generate an experience in you, not interpretation.
Yep.
And then you will be at peace because the teaching itself takes you to the experience and only an experience. Seek only that and do not let theology or anything else delay your nowness of who you are, like Christ mind that you are, Christ heart. It becomes yummy, delicious, and uniting, where you know you just feel this exquisite oneness with your brothers, where it's not only mental but it's also very deeply felt union. Course of Love will help all of that interpretation to be undone. So it's an amazing blessing. And it explains some of your questions in such a beautiful way. If you start reading it from the beginning, it's just absolutely, there's actually next level, let me tell you. Very beautiful.
It's good. It's good. Because I'm hearing all this, and I'm not actually sure of the path, and I feel like that's actually a good thing because it means I'm hitting the point in my mind of a bit of confusion and not knowing, which means that there's something important for me to learn. So I think I like that. Yeah, that we offer the genuine blessings in reliance. I liked that line. It says, to you, I offer the peace of God. Beautiful. I feel that shifts something in me, that it doesn't have to come from me.
Yes.
That it's doable. I can do that.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
It's cool.
All right, dear ones.
Lovely.
Sorry, my internet connection's a bit dodgy here. Sorry about that.
It's okay. We bless it. Just kidding.
love its dodginess.
Report back to us next Saturday, Michelle, to let us know if anything is.
Okay, thank you.
Because I can.
Thank you. Yeah.
Hearing what you're saying, and I am intrigued as well in my own journey on that path, from a perspective, from being, from having people in my life who are struggling, and and figuring out what's the best way I can relate with them, but also keep my own peace. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Ta-da.
Great. You sort of accidentally arrived with us. It's lovely.
Delicious. It's really delicious. Actually, at the beginning of the course, he explains things just so beautifully. All these questions, they just go like, oh God, it's so simple. It's beautiful. It's just so beautiful. It's a course of love. It's not just the mind training. Once your mind is trained, what would you train your mind for? So you can be present for the heart, really truly present. And not only that, but be united, where giving and receiving becomes one. Anyway, I better shut up. Thank you, guys. Thanks for coming. Thanks for
Good night, everybody. Good day.
And
Goody.
thanks so much.
Yeah.
See ya.
Bye.